Oh, my ovaries.
Blood coming out of her wherever.
How are you, my internet family, and welcome to the first episode of a new series. And the name of this series was actually inspired by a tweet by one of my viewers named Tilly. Credit where credit is due, girl. But yeah, we all know that menstrual stigma affects millions of period having humans around the world. And with this new series, I want to help myself as well as you guys feel a bit more comfortable about the fact that yes, our bodies behave like bodies, and they bleed every month from our vaginas. Cheers to that. And yeah, I'm not having a cocktail, I'm having a cup of tea because the warmth helps my cramps and whatnot, and I have a little umbrella in there because it's party central up in here. Woo! I thought we could turn this kind of oftentimes difficult, sucky, painful time of the month into a big massive virtual party where tens and thousands of us just kind of gather here and chat, and everyone's invited, even non-period having humans, in which case you might learn a thing or two and be a little bit better for those in your life who do have to bleed and go through this trauma. I am due to get my period tonight, although it's quite irregular. I have here my water bottle with me. I also have a big ass ginormous bar of dairy milk Oreo chocolate. I thought I'd put a bit more time and effort into these videos, so unlike my normal videos, these will be comprised of 4 sections and they'll be out every single month. So the first section will be about Melanie's monthly craving. We'll have a let's talk about section, then about a topic. Usually I'm going to kind of take a topic that is most discussed down in the comments, so a comment that gets the most likes or a tweet that strikes up an idea in my mind, something like that. Obviously a topic that's related to PMS or periods in some way, but it doesn't have to be like directly about it. And then we're going to have a bloody Q&A, aren't we? A bloody Q&A. That's very punny, isn't it? Oh, little puns. And I think I should always end these episodes with a slab of period wisdom. So like a bit of advice that might make this whole struggle a little bit easier for all of us. If you like this whole idea, please give my lovely Irish self a little thumbs up down there. Go on. No, seriously, like just pause the video. I can wait. Come on. But yeah, feel free to chat to me down in the comments and to each other, especially to each other. Follow me on my socials here to keep up with me and to be included in Q&As. And I guess we should dive right into the Red Sea. I mean, no, let's just begin, shall we? But yeah, as you saw, my craving for this month is Cadbury Oreo chocolate, and dairy milk is something that I usually avoid. Like, I often eat dark chocolate just because I find that it satisfies my cravings better. I don't have to eat as much of it, and it doesn't have dairy in it because I get issues with my skin with this kind of chocolate. But my period gives me breakouts anyway, so it doesn't really matter, does it? This chocolate is so wonderful. Cadbury's chocolate is actually made in Ireland and England. Oh baby, I feel so bad for Americans that they cannot get this chocolate. It's the nicest chocolate I've ever had, and I love this version because it has this kind of creamy white milk chocolatey consistency in the middle, and then it has little lumps of the Oreo biscuit in there to give it like a little crunch. Oh, it's so good. So like, I love sucking on squares of this while I'm watching a movie or editing or just doing whatever. What do you guys crave on your periods? I'd love to read out a bunch of comments of like weird cravings that you get, because it happens to so many of us. I know girls who don't get any cravings, and then girls who just fixate on one specific thing and they're like, I have to have it. Right, so let's talk about why I don't use tampons, shall we? And I'm already anticipating a bunch of comments telling me that I'm gross, and you know, I, along with many other women, have been shamed all my life for choosing to use sanitary pads and sanitary towels over tampons. I always hear people saying things that like pads are disgusting to use and it's like wearing an adult diaper. When I was 11 years old and trying to figure out my body, hearing that people thought I was dirty and, you know, being slagged, it didn't help. Let's just say that. Now any of my friends who watch this are going to know about this, but anytime that I'm out, say on a night out in a nightclub or something, and I get my period unexpectedly, say if it comes early or a day late or whatever, and I tell one of my friends, oh shit, I just got my period and I wasn't expecting it, they'll offer me a tampon, and a lot of the times I'll just be like, oh thanks, and I'll go into the bathroom and I'll be too scared to use it that I'll just shove a bunch of tissue into my knickers and pretend that I used the tampon, and then I'll like waddle out of the bathroom. It's not comfortable, is it? Tissue. Oh, there are many reasons why some people don't use tampons that aren't the same reasons that I don't use tampons. silly reasons like they're afraid of it breaking the hymen when they're younger. The hymen is a little layer of skin on the inside of the vagina, and a lot of people associate it with the loss of virginity, which I just think is ridiculous. It's nothing to do with sex. Like, my hymen was broken before I ever had sex, I think from horse riding, actually. Sometimes I kind of wish I could use tampons because they're so little and discreet and stuff, but for some girls like me, a tampon literally simply will not go in. It won't go in. I tried to explain to a doctor when I was younger, like, I was saying, why will the tampon not go in? Like, all my friends use them, and she suggested that I had this right here. Vaginismus, if I'm saying that correctly, is a condition where your vaginal muscles will tense up if you are trying to penetrate it. It is quite common, and for me, I found out when I was in therapy, it is a psychological issue for me, and it will only happen if I'm trying to put in anything artificial. But for some women, it can even happen with sex. So if anyone is, you know, if their partner or someone that they want to have consensual sex with is trying to you know, it just won't. The vagina's like, hella no. No. For me, this issue with the tampons was I would have this worry that it was going to be painful or uncomfortable, and that would send this signal to the muscles at the opening of my vagina, and then they would then contract and make it like basically impossible to insert anything. You won't even know this is happening. All you'll know is that you can't fit something in. So it's definitely worth talking to a professional about, especially to figure out why it's happening. This takes me to my next point of the whole fear of a tampon being in there. It makes me uncomfortable thinking about walking around all day with something inside me and like a little string dangling out. I can't cope. I mean, look at how cool these things are. It's like a little box of sweets. I just wish I could bloody use them, but look at this. I mean, come on. Those of you who use tampons are going to be looking at this being like, what is wrong with you? But for me, I'm trying to explain, and a lot of other girls who use sanitary pads, the idea of shoving that up your fanny and leaving it in there all day is the equivalent of, for me, it's like the idea of having cotton wool balls in my mouth or chewing tinfoil. It just gives me that like horrible goosebumpy, like, it's like, no, I can't cope. I cannot cope. And when I was younger, you know, these leaflets that they had in the boxes, I don't know if it's still on here, but they would have this notification, a big warning about toxic shock syndrome, which doesn't affect many people, admittedly, but it's been linked with tampon usage, and you can die from it. So I saw that and I was like, it's just a bacterial infection, and it was associated with super absorbent tampons, which is what I would need because my period does be quite heavy for the first 2 days. And yeah, that was enough for me. I was like, nah, I'd rather just slip something discreet into my pants and go about my day without something stuck up inside of me. I'm not super athletic. There was never a reason for me to be terrified of the whole idea of using pads, so I just decided to go with pads. For me, during the day, I like to use the Always Sensitive pads. They're really soft and comfortable, and then at nighttime, I love the packaging of these, by the way. It makes me think of a cartoon I watched as a child called Barbar. I don't know why, but it's just gorgeous. These are Secure Fit ultra nighttime ones with wings. And do you know why it's so important to get these pads for some girls at nighttime? It only has triple protection against leakages, doesn't it? And I have destroyed Menny's the mattress at nighttime. Menny's the beautiful pair of new pajamas. Menny's the knickers with leakages. It's not nice. It's the worst feeling ever when it gets out. So if you have that issue, just make sure you change them more often and use those kinds of big ones with wings. It's grand, it's fine. I've been in long-term relationships and all that kind of thing, and having a period never came in the way, and no one I've ever been with was kind of judging me for using pads and stuff. It was always like other people or tampon wearers. All you tampon wearers, just be careful about the language you use around a woman's choice of what she uses, because some people don't even use either of those. People use things like Diva cups and all kinds of things. Someone did ask me on Twitter how I feel about the Diva cup. I think it's great. I love that it's better for the environment and all that stuff, but I'm just not sticking that up my fanny. No way. Now I'm going to answer some of your burning questions from Twitter. So Maddie asked, how do I not eat everything in our house and a small child when I'm PMSing? When you find out, let me know. I know, but really, but tea definitely helps. Having endless cups of tea, like herbal tea, green tea, all that stuff, it just kind of occupies the urge to have something in your mouth. But I feel like letting yourself indulge every day on something you're craving. If you have a little bit of it, like this magic stuff, it just means that I'm not kind of trying to limit myself. I think the worst thing you can do is to deny your cravings and feel really guilty, because sometimes even if I, you know, make sure that I have lots of healthy fats and stuff like that, and I always up my carbs as well around my period time, so I'll have carbs with every single meal, like extra. So I'll be having things like potatoes and rice and extra bread. Our bodies just have different needs at that time of the month, you know, and you have to kind of listen to it. But making sure that you're eating all your meals and little and often and consistent and having your snacks, you won't be as tempted to stuff your face. Because I definitely don't like overeat, I don't think, on my period. I just kind of make some shittier decisions, and I don't really be craving fruit and all that stuff. But forcing it down does stop you from eating an entire one of these rather than just a bit of it. Nikki asked me, how do I motivate myself to get off the couch when cramps are happening? The memory of how good I always feel after exercising. So I just try and remember that it always does actually help my cramps and elevate my mood. And the only way you can experience that as if you do it in the first place. Helen asked me, what products do I prefer using? Well, I already answered that in terms of the pad situation, but also something that Zoe actually recommended to me on Twitter was Feminax tablets, and these are just so good for fast pain relief. I am usually one of those people who shies away from using any kind of painkillers. Don't really want it in my body all the time, you know. I won't take painkillers for like any old headache, but sometimes when my cramps get really bad, I opt for these, and holy sweet mother of divine, they are incredible. They really just like kill it, especially if my cramps are keeping me awake, which does tend to happen on certain months, especially any times where I've been transitioning in and out of taking a contraceptive pill. They get so bad. Tezzy Erica asked me, what do I use to keep track of my period? I actually started a bullet journal recently, which I'll talk about in one of my favorites videos probably, but I've always been more of one of those persons who just jots it down in a notebook rather than using an app or anything like that. I'll write down the date that I get it, and then based on that I will estimate 4 weeks from there, and then I'll write that down. Then if I don't happen to get it on that, I'll follow that pattern then. Adrian said, how can I best support a friend going through this time? Adrian, I'm guessing you're a guy, and if so, why can't more guys ask questions like this? That's amazing. But just have a whole lot of patience and understand that their hormones are going to make them say things and do things that they wouldn't normally say and do, and they're going to make them act out or be sad, you know, over things that usually wouldn't upset them. So just a lot of understanding and patience is all you can do. I'm going to finish off with a little bit of advice, and I feel like this is something that goes really overlooked, is the use of a hot water bottle at nighttime in bed on your belly. So I'm sure lots of you have heard about this, but I know a lot of girls who don't actually do it. It's kind of such a granny thing to do, isn't it? My granny used to always have her hot water bottle. Filling this with really hot water and then just laying it down on your tummy can really help cramps. I want you guys to leave comments down below on your best advice for time of the month. I really hope you've enjoyed this, and I'm excited actually about doing one of these videos every single month of 2017. So give it a like. I'll see you again in my next video, and thanks for watching. Bye guys.